Not quite from Honolulu, Hawaii. This is Tar Heel Illustrated. Three things from North Carolina's 87-69 win over Hawaii earlier tonight / this morning. I'm in Boston. And by the way, I am THI publisher Andrew Jones. I'm in Boston here for the Tar Heels football game, which kicks off in about 8 hours. Less than that. I'll be in the stadium a lot sooner than that. I've got a stringer in Honolulu, someone who used to write for the Honolulu newspaper, covered the game tonight, and it's taken a while to get videos in. So here I am doing a quick three things about a basketball game many of you may not have seen, or you taped it and you're going to watch it on tape, or you just watched it on tape. Started at 12:30 Eastern Time, Carolina picking up the 18-point win. The Tar Heels led by 20 twice in the second half, and by as much as 21 at 78-57 after Cade Tyson scored a basket. And by the way, Cade Tyson 9 points tonight, 7 in the second half. Here are the first of the three things I want to talk about. Carolina's backcourt. I think we're going to do this all year. That's the strength of the team. And at some point this year, they might get recognition as the best backcourt in college basketball. And as much as I love the way these guys play, this team's been very three-guard dominant so far, and it was tonight, especially when it made its pushes in pulling away from the Rainbow Warriors. Elliot Cadeau, 17 points. R.J. Davis led the team with 18, but Elliot Cadeau, 17 points. He only played 5 minutes or so, 6 minutes in the first half. He had picked up a second foul just a few minutes into the game. So good moment of adversity, opportunity of adversity for the Tar Heels to deal with not having Elliott for most of the half. And there was a period in which Hawaii went to a zone. In fact, RJ had gone out of the game, so Seth was at the point for a while. And they got a couple buckets. They got one on a Jay Witt pass, little feed to Van Allen Lubin, cut into the basket. He scored. And then a rip and run after a Hawaii basket. Carolina pitched it ahead very quickly. Cade Tyson got the ball on the right baseline, took a couple dribbles, and dunked. And that's how they got some points and really kind of took Hawaii out of the zone. But I thought the zone affected them a little bit when they were in it. And eventually RJ came back on the floor, and eventually Elliott came back on the floor, and the Tar Heels were very good. Now, the reason these three stood out, and Trimble, by the way, had 13 points. They combined for 48. The Tar Heels were 17 for 23 on layups. A lot of it, these guys. And the Tar Heels were, 19-1 in fast break points. I'm going to get to that in a minute. A lot of it was these guys. The thing that stood out to me is this. RJ hit his first shot of the game, which was a three. He was 2 for 6 from three. I thought a couple of the misses were really, really good looks. It looked to me like RJ was a little more comfortable playing with the new look Tar Heels. I thought that had been part of the issue. And Hubert Davis had spoken about that and told us last week. He talked to RJ about it a little bit. And he told us that after the American game. I thought RJ looked more comfortable and more connected and in the flow tonight than he had in the first three games. So that was a really good sign. He started out 3 for 4, finished 3 for 10, so he's 6 for 14 from the floor, 2 for 6 from three. I think those made threes were really big, and they looked like RJ threes. Elliot Cadeau driving to the basket in any situation, whether it's in transition, whether it's in semi-transition, whether it's in the half court, whether the clock is winding down, that is a high percentage play for the Tar Heels. He is so improved. And the thing that has really impressed me this season with him, that was something that wasn't always there a year ago, are two things. One, man, he knows how to play off contact now, but he's got such a smooth finish. The ball comes off his fingertips so beautifully. He's scoring playing off contact. And in some respects, he doesn't even look stressed. And that was the case tonight when the Tar Heels made a push in the second half. They had an 11-0 run, and then they had another little push. Elliott was right at the forefront of that, getting in the lane, drawing some fouls, going to the line. But his strength, his assertiveness, his magnet to the rim, all that with his drives are on a different level right now than they were at any time last year, and it's only going to get better. Quick Seth Trimble note. Coming into the season, Trimble's career high was 12 points. He has scored more than 12 points in each of the 4 games so far. And by the way, he did it in the 2 exhibition games as well. So this is a different Seth Trimble. Clearly, Carolina's guards, they're outstanding. They're going to be the engine of this team. Going to need to be some more stuff down the road. And certainly maybe even next week if that team to win 3 games. Huge task to win 3 games, especially with the third thing I'm going to talk about today. The second thing is the speed. And a lot of this is the guards, but the other guys run too. The other guys run really well as well. For example, the Tyson bucket, he wasn't snowbirding. He busted down the court, got himself an easy deuce. The Tar Heels outscored Hawaii 19-1 in transition tonight. This is an incredible stat. Through 4 games, Carolina has outscored its 4 opponents 77-21 in fast break points. 77-21. It was 19-1 tonight. Carolina's speed and quickness and athletic ability was way too much for Hawaii. And it showed up on the other end too, on the other end of the floor. Tar Heels had an 8-1 advantage in steals. They got a lot of the buckets by getting steals in the lane from just inside the free throw lane to midcourt. And of course, they had the rip and runs. And honestly, there were a couple they probably should have gotten and didn't. As I noted, they were 17 for 23 on layups, which is pretty good, but a couple of them, one in particular, and I talked about this in the Drake Powell daily drop the other day. He got a rebound on one end, pushed it up the court, but constantly head up, looking to pitch, looking to move the ball. Wasn't there, kept going to the rim, no hesitation, got off a nice look. Just it was highly contested, just didn't convert, but he's going to convert those moving forward. And I just love seeing when he does that because that's a part of his game that a lot of dudes have, and he already has that as a freshman. So you've got the 3 guards being outstanding tonight, doing their thing. You've got Carolina's speed and athletic ability, and it's the front court guys too. It's a very, very bouncy front court. And we did see some of that a little bit later in the game, especially with how Jalen Washington used some of his quickness to get around and defend Tanner Christensen, the big man for Hawaii, who at times had his way with Jay Wash. The third thing is a negative. And it's quite timely because I just did a daily drop the other day about rebounding trending in the right direction. I asked Hubert Davis about it on Monday in Chapel Hill. He said yes, he felt good, like the rebounding was trending in the right direction. They out-rebounded Kansas on the road. They doubled up American 46-23. Well, the Tar Heels got obliterated on the glass tonight. This is a negative. This is a huge negative. And Hubert mentioned after the game, James Sharoma sent me the video. It's on our site. Hubert met with a couple of members of the media outside the locker room, and yeah, he's going to hammer home this rebounding thing. He is steadfast in saying it ain't about how big you are. It's about right here. It's about how big this is and what the want is. And he's going to hammer that home with the team because they were out rebounded 40-27. Hawaii got a big early jump on the glass, and Carolina never really cut into it. They just slowly extended that. And it was 15-5 on the offensive glass. Hawaii had 14 second chance points to just 5 of the Tar Heels. These are numbers you rarely see from North Carolina. Go back over time. I could think of Auburn in 2019, the Sweet 16. I could think of Texas A&M the year before in the second round, both times Carolina getting eliminated. I think the recipe is there. At some point in March, if this team doesn't get much, much better at rebounding, being a very good rebounding team, a competent rebounding team, much tougher down there. There was not great toughness at times tonight. Then that's how they're going to exit from the NCAA tournament in March. I mean, it's right there. It's right in front of them. It's right there. And to sort of magnify this, in 61 combined minutes, and I've got this stat here. I'm going to have to scroll this down if you don't mind a little bit. In 61 combined minutes, Jalen Washington, Jalen Withers, Van Allen Lubin, and Ty Claude combined for only 10 rebounds. They combined for 61 minutes on the floor, just 10 rebounds, only 2 offensive rebounds. That has to change. I don't think tonight's a one-off. You saw the grit at Kansas, but this club has to take that aspect of grit. Every time it steps on the floor, it could lose. Hawaii didn't have the skill or athletic ability to make the Tar Heels ultimately pay for that. But the teams they're going to face in Maui will. Anybody they face in Maui will, including Dayton on Monday night. So this is something that obviously will be addressed. And it must be the primary point of emphasis every moment this team is together, because they don't have Armando. They don't have Tyler Zeller and John Henson. They don't have Hansbrough. They don't have Armando and Harrison Ingram like last year. They combined average 19 rebounds a game. They don't have that. They've got to do it with a lot more grit than we saw tonight, for sure. So that must. They fly today. It's Saturday. They fly on over to Maui. It's like a 10-minute flight. Monday, they open against Dayton. Tuesday, regardless of if they win or lose, Tuesday, they face either Auburn or Iowa State. They're both in the top 5. And awaiting Wednesday is either going to be Connecticut, Michigan State, Memphis, or Colorado. Colorado's pretty good. They've been in the tournament the last couple of years. Anyway, Tar Heels, 87. Rainbow Warriors, 69. From my hotel room just outside Chestnut Hill here in Boston, in the wee hours of the morning, I will get this much sleep. I'm AJ, and I appreciate you stopping by.